Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Weather Wednesday. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, bringing you just some interesting weather stories going on around the United States. First off, I wanted to talk to you about some flooding that's been happening in Vietnam. We may have talked about this. I know we talked about this several times in the past, but what I wanted to do is just bring up the plight going on in Vietnam. And as my Science on a Sphere quits on me here real quick, let me get back to what I wanted to show you here. So here are the clouds around. I don't want colorized, I want regular ones. Here we go. Clouds around the world here. And we're going to bring up Vietnam. Now, in case you don't know exactly where it's at, I'm going to bring up the countries overlay. Here we go. And this long, skinny country right here is Vietnam. And what I've noticed in the past is that Vietnam this year, 2020, has experienced more typhoons than it has ever had before. In fact, what you can see is these several significant storms hitting this country. Right here, let's start with this one right here. You can see the puffy clouds. Actually, I'm going to use my laser pointer so that'd be a little bit easier for us to control. But you can see a significant storm system dropping a lot of rain there. But as we progress through time, guys, this is only over the last 30 days. I want you to count with me how many significant systems we see hitting the central part of Vietnam here. So let's count right here. There's one. Here comes another one. Two, that's the remnants of a typhoon. Three. Four. Five. Six. Just in the last 30 days, guys, 6 significant rainstorms to hit Vietnam. That has caused a lot of flooding, a lot of damages in the Vietnam area. So that's something that I want you to keep in mind, is that even though we are all struggling around the world in this 2020, even though it's a challenge to wear masks, or maybe you're looking for a new job, at least you still have your home. And that's something that I want to use Science on a Sphere for, guys, is to understand that we're not alone in this, in these struggles. That people around the world are struggling with a lot more harder things than we might be here in the United States. So please keep them in mind, and if you have an opportunity to share to help people around the world. Vietnam is not the only area to be struggling right now. Let's take a look at Nicaragua and Honduras, which just went through a second significant hurricane in the last couple weeks, in the last 2 weeks. If you recall on previous episodes, we had Hurricane Eta. Well, now the same place has been hit by Hurricane Iota. We have already had a very active hurricane season with a record number of named storms in the Atlantic Basin, in the Atlantic Ocean. And now this hurricane that hit Nicaragua and Honduras, it is the second time, guys, this is pretty amazing stuff, but this is the second time that a Category 4 hurricane has hit Nicaragua and Honduras right here. And you can see that the landfall hit just 15 miles south of where Category 4 Hurricane Eta hit. That's unprecedented. It's never happened before where two Category 4 hurricanes have hit the same spot. So there we go. That is pretty significant. Just wanted to do a quick shout out. Looks like we have a viewer in possibly Vietnam. Just wanted to say hello to you as well. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that this brings just some interest to you, some information about just the plight going on around the world. So definitely be thinking about praying for the people in Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Colombia, as several people have lost their lives because of Hurricane Ida and now Hurricane Iota. Now on to something kind of interesting that happened over the weekend here in the United States. I learned something that I don't know if you have ever heard of this before, but have you ever heard of a term called a seiche? A weather term called a seiche. It is spelled S-E-I-C-H-E. I had not heard of it either, but this happened over the weekend. A seiche occurs when a significant low pressure system pushes through, and just like a hurricane storm surge, that wind pushes water in the lake in one direction and causes a wall of water to be pushed in one direction. So what happened over the weekend is Buffalo, New York experienced a rise in their lake, Lake Erie. They experienced a rise in their lake levels, their water levels, 7 feet higher than what it was just a few hours before. And then on the opposite side of the lake, they experienced a 5-foot drop in their water levels of the lake. So what happens during a seiche is this idea of sloshing, where the wind pushes the water to one side, and then as it relaxes, the water kind of sloshes back and forth. That is called a seiche. And so the Midwest experienced some strong winds. Over the weekend, and that pushed a wall of water towards Buffalo, New York, causing a couple feet of flooding in many places along the lakefront there. So hopefully that you guys learned something along with me about this strange weather phenomenon. But seiche is the word for today. Now let's take a look at forecasts. Let's take a look at weather around the world. Let's start off here in the United States. I want to bring up the satellite images again, because there is some interesting things going on here in the United States. Right now, there is a strong low pressure system over the Pacific Northwest, actually over the whole West Coast right here. It's a pretty large system. You can see that even down in California, finally they're getting some moisture down in Southern California because of this low pressure system. You can see that it's tightly wrapped, or a pretty strong, good shape to it right here, is that that indicates a pretty strong low pressure system. Well, we'd have to look at the barometric pressure to see what those levels are. But you can also see this big dip right here as they move it back and forth. You can see this drop. That's a trough that scientists look for the low pressure systems. So that trough right there is going to continue its way across the Midwest. So in a few days' time, we can probably experience that or expect that to cross the Midwest here and see maybe some moisture, maybe some precipitation out of this low pressure system coming across. So let's take a look at the forecast here. This is our forecast model. Remember, we are looking at pressure differences. What you're looking for is either a ridge, which indicates warm weather, or a trough, which indicates possible clouds and moisture. And as we go across here, the West Coast will continue to get some cloud systems here. Looks like, so here's that low pressure system. You see how close those lines are over the Northwest there. That's some cold and some wind going on there. As it travels across the Midwest, that's going to slide down over the Midwest here. That's going to slide down and cause just some clouds and possible precipitation as it makes its way across. we'll see a ridge. Looks like a ridge is developing over the west coast there around the 25th and 26th. So should get some nice weather, but interspersed with a couple of low pressure systems coming through. So prior to the 25th, you'll have another rain system there. Let's go look at the East Coast here. East Coast, a low pressure system has been making its way across. That is going offshore. Looks like a ridge, looks like some nice weather over the east side for a little bit. The lakes will get a little bit of low pressure, but nothing strong. And then a ridge popping up. So some nice weather over Chicago and Michigan, Detroit there on the 22nd, 23rd. And then that low pressure system that started on the west coast will make its way across the 24th and 25th. So that's what we're looking at there. Now, as I take a look at weather around the world, here's one thing I noticed. Let's get our orientation back. One thing I noticed here in the Indian Ocean. So this is India right here. And if you watch right here, our forecast model calls for a possible tropical cyclone developing off the east coast of India. You can see that developing right here, and you can see it strengthening as it develops more lines around there. We're going to wait and see how strong that is going to develop, but we're pretty confident that there's going to be a low pressure system developing over this. I believe this is not the Arabian, the Bay of Bengal is right here, but this low pressure system developing and coming on shore the 25th, 26th of November there. So keep a lookout there in India. As we move around, just our continual low pressure kind of storm systems over the north part of Europe, Iceland. This time of year gets a lot of wind. That translates into some rough seas there. So they'll continue to get some low pressure systems moving across that area there. Well, what do you guys want to know about your area? If you want to know what the weather is going to be like in your area, or if you have experienced some significant weather events in your area, let us know. Reach out to us on our social media pages. We have some events going on here at the Discovery Center. If you're local and want to join us, today is Home Study Day. We're going to be taking a look at marketing your space business. There's lots to talk about space, and so we invite you guys to ask questions for us here at the Discovery Center. You can reach out to us at discoverspace.org or reach out to us on our social media pages. Well, that's all that I have for today. Next week is going to be Thanksgiving week. We wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. We'll have a recorded show going out on Wednesday, on our next Weather Wednesday. Very interesting stuff, so look for that coming out next Wednesday morning. Until next time, thanks for joining me on today's Weather Wednesday.